Hi! We're going to go over lesson 90 today, which we're dealing with two-digit multiplication by another two-digit. So, I'm going to read the example, and then I'm going to underline what the question is asking us. A college auditorium has 27 rows of seats and 46 seats in each row. How many people can be seated in the auditorium? So they're asking us how many people can be seated in the auditorium. Okay. An important piece of information here would be that there's 27 rows and that 46 seats in each row. Okay. So I need to multiply these two together. 27 times 46. Okay, I'm going to start with the 6 here. I'm going to not deal with this 4 yet. Okay, 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 2 is 12 plus 4, 16. Okay, now I'm done with this 6. I'm just going to cross it off so I'm done with it. Now I'm going to multiply by my 4. I'm still going to multiply in the ones place first. Okay, 4 times 7 is 28. Now, I had this 4 here from the previous multiplication problem. So what I do is I just cross that off, because 4 times 7 is 28. So I need to have a 2 up here. And since we took 27 times 4, and this was in the tens place, it's actually taking it times 40. So we need a 0 here, because 28, or 4 times 7 is 28. And then this 4 was in the tens place. So we need a 0 there. Okay. And then we can take 4 times 2, which is 8, plus 2, which is 10. And we can add these together. We'll get 2, 14, 2, and 1. Now we need a label because we're dealing with word problems. It asks us how many people. 1,242 people. Example 2. A golf course has 46 different spectator mounds. Each mound can seat an average of 72 spectators. How many spectators can be seated on the mounds altogether? So I see a keyword here of altogether. Altogether means that we need to find a total amount. So that either means we need to add up everything or we need to multiply, because multiplying is just adding over and over and over. So the question asked us how many spectators can be seated on the mounds. Well, we need to find some information about spectators and about the mounds. Okay? If I go back through, it says that there's 46 different spectator mounds. So 46 mounds, and then each mound can have an average of 72 spectators. Okay, so each mound, if there's 46 of them, I'm only going to draw 3. But on each of them, they're going to have 72 people being able to sit there. So if we add those up 46 times in a row, it's easier just to multiply. So I'm going to multiply 46 times 72. Okay, I'm going to start with the 2. Okay, 2 times 6 is 12. Carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. Now I'm done with this 2. So now I'm going to move over to the tens place with this 7. So it's actually like I'm taking 46 times 70. So I do need to put my 0 down here because we're multiplying it by 70, not 7. But since we have the 0 here, we can just multiply it by the digit 7 now. So 7 times 6 is 42. We used this 1 already, so I'm going to rewrite. Now it's a 4. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 4 is 32. Now I can add all these up. And I should get 3,312. Now I need a label. It says how many spectators can be seated. So it's 3,312 spectators. Example 3. Adelio estimated the product of 86 times 74 to be 6,300. Did Adelio make a reasonable estimate? So the question here is, did he make a reasonable estimate? Yes or no? That's what we're going to be trying to answer. Yes or no. Okay. So if we go and back up, he takes 86 times 24 here. This is what we need to figure out. Is that equal to 6,300 if you estimate it? Well, let's figure out how to round 86 first, and then we'll round 74, and then we can multiply it together to see what we get. So if I was to look at 86 here, 86, I see that we have a 6 right here. So every time if it's 5 or more, we raise the score. And if it's 4 or less, we let it rest. So what I mean by that is we're going to either change this 8 to a 9 and raise the score, or what I mean by 4 or less, let it rest, is we'll just leave 8 the same and this becomes a 0. Okay, so since it's a 6, that means it's greater than 5. So we're going to raise the score or round up. So this actually becomes 90. Okay. And then we're multiplying it by 74. I see a 4. Remember, 4 or less, you let it rest. So this 7 stays the same. It's resting. We don't have to do anything to it. But this 4 is just going to become a 0. Okay? Another way to think of rounding, okay, if we have 86, if you have a number line between 0 and 10, 5 is halfway. So, if it's at 5 or more, you're going to round up. If it's at 4 or less, then it just stays the same or you let it rest. So since this 6 is above the 5, we round up, which we did here. Since in 74, the 4 is less than 5, so we just round down. Isn't really the right word, but we just stay the same. Okay? So there's kind of two ways to think about it. There's a visual way, or there's just remembering the rules of it. So now we have 90 times 70, okay? Since these are both multiples of 10, I can just do that rule where I deal with the zeros later and I just kind of cover them up. So then I'm just dealing with 9 times 7. 9 times 7, if you know your times tables, is 63. And we had 2 zeros here because we're multiplying by 90 and 70. So we need 2 zeros over here. So, is his estimate reasonable? Yeah, We got the same exact thing. We got 6,300 and so did he.